What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. There's an article that I'd love to share with you guys and talk a little bit about, and there are just specific points in the article, short read, and I think there are a few things that need to be pointed out here. So journalist or writer Joe Donnelly out of Games Radar wrote this article about Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. The title is very interesting. They go ahead and they title the article, Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League looks set to turn the superhero genre on its head. A quick summary, because I just read the article before making this video. They talk about how they had already pictured the game to be a Game of the Year contender based on what they saw. They talked about a few things, but there is something that I feel is somewhat of a Freudian slip or a mistake. Now, I say Freudian slip or mistake because I want to give room for the possibility that we don't necessarily know what this game is about. When I search the words RPG, they actually show up on this article because this particular article kind of categorizes this as some kind of an RPG in a sense for this particular article. It's kind of weird. So check this out. They said in the beginning, when Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League featured in our big 2022 roundup last year, I reckon it already looked like a Game of the Year material. A few months later, Rocksteady Studios announced its post-Batman Arkham action RPG superhero venture would in fact launch in 2023. Now, this could be a genuine error, or maybe they are seeing something here that many people don't necessarily know, which is something that I've suspected for a very long time. Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League, to me, might get more and more exciting, but I don't know if that's going to be something that a lot of other gamers in the superhero space share. Why I say this is because the RPG-esque nature that this person may have somewhat slipped to sight is probably from that leaked photo that had the battle pass. Now, here's the thing about a lot of information. You have to look very detailed at as many different pain points as you possibly can. And I say this because you kind of have to go ahead and consider the fact that the very first thing that you got to see with that particular poster was the currencies. You got to see matchmaking. You got to see the crossplay ability of the game. But one thing nobody really talked about was there was a tab that actually had talents for Boomerang. I mean, if you think about those talent set of systems, you already find yourself in a position where now your characters will have possibly special abilities that you can actually maybe upgrade using some of those currencies. It may be XP, it may not be XP, but this is a possibility and a huge likelihood. Not saying that this is a definitive, because if you actually were to look at, say, the description of Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League on sources like the Steam page, you'll notice that nothing regarding RPG has been mentioned. It only goes in to say something along the lines of a third-person action or shooter action in terms of the way they're designing it, and a character-driven story gameplay. That's basically what is the official description of this game. Talking about how Waller is basically sending the Suicide Squad to take on the Justice League, location being Metropolis, but we don't necessarily have anything that's moving there. And then they also mention the dynamic multiplayer that you have and the co-op setting, which you can pretty much enjoy the game in, so single player or multiplayer. So we don't necessarily have much, but I think there might be some elements to that comes into play. And the reason why I said that this is something exciting for me is because if this game is the game that we in the Division community kind of suspected, then I can see how there will be some RPG mechanics. Oh, now this is going to be shocking for some people, because for those of the people who detracted from Gotham Knight saying, why would they make an RPG? I'm sure you're probably going to be quite surprised with Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. I know many of you are going to say, but it looks more fun, but it's Rocksteady and all that talk. But, you've backed yourself into a corner. You might as well start, maybe taking a little bit of an ease on other games that you might see and not like, because your anticipated game might be highlighting a lot of those things. Not saying RPG elements are going to be here, but it's very interesting that this author of this article pretty much described it as such. And I guess if you wanted to maybe argue the point if Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League could be Game of the Year, there's a likelihood that it could be Game of the Year, but not in the space that you have Hogwarts Legacy and some other single player titles coming out by, fall and year's end. I think Spider-Man is probably going to try to make that release window. Jedi Survivor is going to be coming out in March. So there are going to be some contenders, and single player games seem to have been, in my opinion, the games that actually do fit the mold. I think with the live service component, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League might eventually be in that category now, because the Game Awards have a category for live service games and support and all that stuff. Anyways, I'll let you guys chew on this. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Peace out.